Hello, my dearest friends, and welcome back to your Fertility podcast show. I'm so glad you're here with me today, wherever you are listening from. Maybe you're in the car, or maybe taking a walk, or maybe sitting in a quiet moment with a coffee. Today, I want to speak directly to the men in our community and to everyone who loves and supports them. We are diving into a topic that is still too often whispered about: male infertility or masculinity and the emotional weight that men carry in silence. This episode is an invitation to soften, to understand, and to begin seeing masculinity through a more human, compassionate lens. So relax and sit back. We shall get started.
Hello and a warm welcome to my podcast show, Your Fertility Counselor. I'm your host, Tanya Fessler, and together we will dive into all things fertility, offering support, expert insights, and practical evidence-based advice for anyone navigating their fertility journey. So grab a cup of tea and make yourself comfortable. Let's get started.
So let's begin first with something simple and yet so rarely acknowledged. Men feel deeply. Men grieve deeply. And men carry shame, fear, and uncertainty, especially around fertility, but they are often not given permission to actually show it. And yet male infertility is common. And this is all about in our November podcast shows, to really bring this topic of male infertility closer to you and make it broader so that men can understand that you are not alone on this journey. Depending on the study, male factors contribute to 40 to 50% of all infertility cases. But culturally, we don't talk about it. Many men grow up absorbing beliefs like real men are strong, real men don't cry, real men don't fail, and real men must protect, provide, and perform. And fertility gets lumped right into that idea of performance. So research from the UK and Australia shows that when men receive a diagnosis like low sperm count or poor motility, men describe feeling less of a man, or broken, defective, or like my body betrayed me. But men rarely say these things out loud, not to their partners and not to their friends, sometimes not even to themselves. What often shows up instead is silence, withdrawal, irritability, overworking, and this is a classic, sudden health anxiety, or trying to fix it alone by over-researching supplements and workouts. So the hidden emotional world isn't weakness, it's conditioning. And it's what social norms have taught men. And today, we gently challenge those norms. So what is masculinity really? Let's slow down for a moment and ask, what is masculinity? At its core, masculinity is simply a set of traits and energies that humans, not just men, can express. Healthy masculine traits would include focus, purpose, logic, stability, courage, protection, reliability, drive, integrity. These are some of these common traits. You may have another list or more to actually add on. And these are beautiful traits. They help societies function. They help families to feel safe. But when masculinity gets distorted through social conditioning, we get like this emotional suppression or over-identification with performance, perfectionism, fear of vulnerability, and this is a big one, equating masculinity with fertility or sexual virility, and I must fix everything alone. So very often I see men in couple sessions always being the solution seeker and always wanting to fix things. And this is called toxic masculinity, not because men are toxic, but because the expectations placed on men. Now, here is the part many men were never taught. Masculinity and femininity live in all of us. The feminine energy, again, in all genders is intuition, emotional expression, creativity, connection, softness, empathy, being rather than doing. And when a man connects to both his masculine and feminine sides, he becomes whole, resilient, grounded, emotionally intelligent. And this integration is especially important during fertility struggles, because fertility is not just a physical journey, it's a deeply, deeply emotional one. So what does research say about men and infertility? Let's take a look at that. So if you want to bring the research piece into it, it's sometimes really helping to understanding the science for men to help depersonalize the experience. So current studies show, first of all, global sperm counts have declined by over 50% in the last 40 years, with lifestyle and environmental factors playing a major role. Secondly, male infertility is associated with higher risks of depression, anxiety, and lowered self-esteem. But these symptoms often present as functional distress, meaning men appear fine externally while struggling internally. And then third, men report feeling less supported by healthcare providers during fertility treatment than women do. So very often it seems that it's all about the women in the appointments and the care and all what is available, but nothing is really shared with the men that are on a fertility journey. I'm often wondering, why is that? Why is our society still so focused on women and doesn't include actually men? Men deserve at least half of the same attention as well, if not even more. Fourth, studies from Singapore, the UK, and the US consistently show the same emotional pattern. Men feel responsible for protecting their partner from emotional pain. And this makes them hide their own. This increases the relationship distance, which then increases emotional isolation. And this is what I just described now is such a classic, what I see in my sessions. It's really like often the man sits in front of me, like feeling the rock in the ocean, feels that he needs to protect his partner from all what's coming, being like the white knight, shielding and being there for her. And very often it's actually really big suffering underneath. And we hardly ever talk about it unless we really ask them. So usually I would ask them, how are you? And then they tell me, oh, I'm fine. And then I would double up and say, how are you really? And that's when I can see the facial expression. And that's when I can see the expression in their eyes. And this tells me everything. So I'm really, really keen to get to know what's really going on here when I talk to men in my sessions. So men need support just as much as women do. They just don't always know how to ask for it. So a great way to do that is actually start off with a couple session where we have some light conversation first about their journey and what's going on, and then really take everything to a deeper level. And sometimes we then split up the sessions and allowing them to have one-on-ones because the topics of women and men are often very different from each other. And finally, they get to talk to someone who actually can help to normalize their feelings and in a non-judgmental way, just acknowledge how they are feeling and what's going on really. So asking is not a weakness, it is maturity really. So let's talk about the social stories men absorb, often without realizing. So things like men must be strong, men don't talk about feelings, men must be the rock, men must stay calm no matter what, men must solve problems immediately. And here is the big one. Fertility equals masculinity. This myth is extremely harmful and completely untrue. Fertility issues in men are not about strength, virility, masculinity, performance, or sexual ability. Most causes are actually medical. There is an explanation to it, which is medically diagnosed in genetics or hormonal issues, varicocele, environmental toxins, heat exposure, lifestyle factors, oxidative stress, and so forth. None of these define who a man truly is. Masculinity is character, not sperm count. So, as you know me, I always like to share 3 tools in my sessions. So, here are the 3 powerful tools men can begin today. Number 1, name the feeling, even in one word. Men often feel they must explain or justify emotions, but just naming the feeling reduces internal stress by up to 40%. Let me repeat that. It reduces internal stress by up to 40%, according to MRI studies. So try to say something like, I feel sad, or I feel helpless. I feel worried if you are worried about your partner, or I feel disconnected. One word is enough. That can be already the tool to help you reduce internal stress by up to 40%. Tool number 2, share a 5-minute check-ins with your partner. Once or twice a week, try a short check-in. What's one thing that felt heavy this week? What's one thing that helped? And what do we need from each other? The magic here is consistency. It's not the duration, the length. Just pin in one mini meeting you and your partner can schedule once a week. Go for a walk. I've talked about that in my past podcast. It's golden. And just discuss 3 questions. Tool number 3, ask for support. By the way, not solutions. This is a big shift, and I know. Examples can be like, can we talk for 10 minutes? I just need to be heard. Or, I'm struggling, but I don't need fixing. I just need space to share. Or, I want to be close to you, but I don't always know how. Can we try? So this is not weakness, it's emotional courage. And kudos to you if you give it a try. So sometimes I get the questions, well, will you know any books talking about it? I have created a little list of books. If you Google, you will definitely find more resources out there. But one book that was highly recommended by a dear friend just today was The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida. It's a modern classic on integrating masculine and feminine energies with depth. Another book could be Man Enough by Justin Baldoni. Another one, The New Male Sexuality by Bernie Zilbergeld. Or It's Not You, It's Your Sperm by Dr. Shanna Swan, which is more scientific driven. And maybe for those female partners or partners listening out there, if you feel that this could be a nice gift for your partner, or even like curiosity actually instills that in you, that you want to order or listen into any of these books, please go ahead and share it. Share your insights with us. I'm really curious to hear how you go. So before we close today, I want to leave you with this gentle reminder, really. You are not your sperm count. You are not your hormones either. And you are not your diagnosis. You are a whole human being with strength, softness, courage, and vulnerability, all of which can coexist and gives you lots and lots of that superpower. Masculinity is not about perfection or performance. It's about presence. It's about showing up. And it is about allowing yourself to be human. If you are a man listening to this today, I want you to know you deserve support. Your emotions matter. And you are not alone. And if you are supporting a man on this journey, thank you. Thank you from all my heart. Your presence makes everything lighter. So thank you for joining me today, my friends. Thank you for taking the time. As always, I'm sending you warmth and courage and so much love on your path. Until next time, take gentle care of your heart. And see you next week.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fertility Counselor podcast. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. If you need support or have any questions, reach out to us via email at inquiries@counselingconnects.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Fertility Connects. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about us and the services we offer, head to www.fertilityconnects.com. And if you're looking for support beyond fertility, visit www.counselingconnects.com. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.